Hey folks, it's Sam, and I'm talking today about Mars having just gone into the sign of Cancer. You could see Mars just entered Cancer, and he's going to be in Cancer for several months until January of next year. You can see I did a forecast, which you can get access to. I'll have some links below this. You can see this cycle of Mars. I've talked about this crazy Mars shift. 9.5 months of intensity. What does it mean for you, the world, the USA? And you could see this date right here, October 21st, Mars goes into Cancer. Then he's in Cancer until January 20th of 2025. In the meantime, he also goes retrograde and all kinds of stuff. So we'll talk about these things and more in this video. But you could see that he just poked his head in there. And, you know, of course, Mars is in this debilitated sign when he's in Cancer. And the reason it's in the debilitated sign is because it's where we're very emotional about our battles. Mars is the planet of battling, the planet of that warrior spirit where we're trying to, you know, have the courage to take on and fight the battles that are worth fighting. You see underneath my name, it also says Mars ebook. I've also put together this ebook that you have access to. It's totally free. All you need to do is just give your name and email address, and you can get a very comprehensive overview. It's not just an ebook, it's a flip book that also has embedded video and all like that, a very immersive experience. You can just get it for free. You don't have to do anything except give your name and email address. And so, but this will really help. It has embedded videos where I talk a lot about, about the nature of Mars, also why it's debilitated in Cancer. I also talk about the sign of Cancer itself, the sign of Gemini. So the reason we see this Mars in Cancer, and it's called debilitated, is because just think about the nature of like a martial artist. When we're fighting, when we're engaged in argument, or we're upset, we're angry about something, we're not an effective fighter when we're too emotional. When we're too emotional about something, then we're not a very good fighter. The best martial artist is calm and cool under fire. These are things associated with the sign of Capricorn. This is why Mars is exalted in Capricorn, right? Where we are strategic in our battles, where we are calm and cool, right? Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. When we're too emotional about our battles, or just when we get emotional in general, there's a lot of emotions, and anger is one of the emotions. Anger is also an emotion. When someone is very emotional and they're like, oh, I'm just so emotional, be careful, because again, anger is also an emotion. And usually the emotion of anger is not one that we feel good about. Others don't feel good about it either. And so we're not fighting effectively when we're fighting emotionally. So this is very important when it comes to understanding the nature of Mars, understanding the nature of our battles. And again, even as it has here, Mars has been in the sign. I have these two websites up because it has a lot of information that I've already been talking about. But Mars had been in Gemini since the end of August, right? Since the end of August, Mars was in Gemini. And when he's in Gemini, it's very intellectual, a lot of ideas. And again, maybe arguing over ideas, ready to go to battle over ideas. Then Mars goes into Cancer, again, October 20th, 21st. And Cancer is where those ideas then go into the heart. So this is the transition from Gemini into Cancer. The transition from Gemini into Cancer is where those ideas have to then be anchored in the heart. Just think about the nature of your life, just the nature of ideas. You have a lot of ideas and interests. That's the nature of Gemini, ideas, interests, communicating, talking about things. But then you have to settle into the heart. And those things have to go deeply into the heart. When they go deeply into the heart, then they become integrated with your intuition. And then things aren't just ideas, and they're not just a lot of interests or ideas, they're feelings, and they connect with your values, your value system. And again, those things that have a deeper devotional potential, a deeper devotional capacity. So again, that devotion is really the depth of Cancer. The deeper part of Cancer is the devotion, not just the emotions on the surface. Now, again, I actually talked about all of this in this free web class also, that you can also get at marswebclass.com. I'll have links to these things. Again, I actually bring these web pages up many times because they make for good videos, because I can just have the screens right next to me rather than, these visuals are nice. Plus, these are things I can give you. These are all for free, right? If you want to really get a deep dive into this 9.5 months of intensity that started at the end of August, this is going well into next year, which includes like the US elections, the other things. As you can see, Mars is about to go retrograde. His retrograde motion in Cancer, and then he also goes retrograde back into Gemini, because Mars is going to go forward here. He'll go forward here, whoops, and go a few degrees, then he'll go backwards, back into Gemini, then he'll go forward again. So again, if you want to hear, if you haven't gotten this yet, or even if you did, go back and look at it again. It's a very rare event. And even again, just go to the webpage and read all of this. So again, I bring these things up. These are all free. You don't have to pay anything for this. Sometimes people think you're always promoting things. Yeah, free stuff for you to get more information, because, I've already compiled all of this. So these are excellent resources. And again, this is a full interactive ebook. You can just go and check it out, and you'll learn about the evolutionary process of Mars, so you can work better with your anger and frustration. Everything is an evolutionary process. Mars isn't just anger. Like I said, it's about transforming that anger and frustration into discipline, where there's more calm and peace and courage, when Mars energy isn't just directed emotionally and angrily. When we take our time and we can reflect, then it's a great source of courage to face ourself, to face yourself, because you need to face yourself. You're not a victim of things in your life, right? So, but the courage to face yourself comes from Mars. And again, in this interactive ebook, this is a lot of what I talk about relative to also the signs of Gemini and Cancer. Also, again, Mars in Cancer, his debilitated sign, and the emotional frustrations. I have one of the interactive videos are just on Mars in Cancer. You can see there's also one on Gemini and whatnot, also the sign of Cancer. And then also Vedic Astrology forecast for Mars into June 2025. That would be this. There are links inside the book to also get this free class. But so this is an incredibly pivotal time. Mars is going to be here for 3 months, including a retrograde cycle. And again, it's very important to know that your fighting spirit just moved from Gemini, again, where we're sort of fighting over ideas, to Cancer, where we might be fighting over things that are more personal or emotional, and or just being very emotional about our fights and struggles. We might be taking things very personally, or things where we've been personally hurt, we might get very angry about and frustrated as well. So the real sort of cure, if you want to call it a cure, is in what I already just mentioned, which is, instead of being emotional about these things, be disciplined, because it's the same energy of Mars transformed. And discipline means that you do practices. And see, this is often where this transition from Gemini to Cancer is very important, because Gemini has a lot of ideas, like you're listening to me talking, and maybe you've watched my videos and you're like, oh, that's great. I really like listening to what you're saying. And we can even get, we get kind of excited about it. And we think we've done something important. Now, again, it is important at first, but it needs to go deep into the heart and really settle in our heart. We need to feel it in our gut, not just be entertained or stimulated by the ideas. See, this is where Gemini can just be on the surface of things. Gemini is a great catalyst for new ideas and new things, but then we need to take them deeper into the heart. And then again, actually after the sign of Cancer, then Leo is where they become consistent focal points, like a consistent force. So this discipline is really very important in elevating Mars energy. So it's a great time to bring those deep principles and those things that are worth fighting for into your heart, and be honest with yourself also about things that have happened in your life. Be honest about situations where maybe you are sort of playing the victim and acting like you're powerless. And by the way, the other masculine planet, the sun, is also in his debilitated sign right now. So we have both of these planets in their debilitated states right now. So this is important. That masculine energy is kind of pushed down a little bit right now. I'll do another video about the sun here as well. But again, understanding that we might be feeling a kind of lack of confidence anyway. So we need to be disciplined about what we're doing. And that's very important now. Most of this is going to take place in the nakshatra of Punarvasu and also Pushya. And again, these nakshatras are extremely important. I actually have a course that I'm going to be doing on the nuance of the Zodiac as well. You can check this out. And again, this is a great resource for understanding nakshatras and zodiac signs and how they align. You can go here, check it out. If you want to get the class, you can. But if you want to just know about the nakshatras, it's a very important aspect of Vedic astrology. And again, this first section of Cancer is where Gemini becomes Cancer. The last 10 degrees of Gemini and the first 3 degrees 20 minutes of Cancer is the nakshatra of Punarvasu. It's that section of the sky. And Punarvasu is ruled by the Divine Mother energy and a deity called Aditi, the mother of the Adityas. You can see I have it here, right there. Gemini and Cancer, ruled by Punarvasu nakshatra. Jupiter ruled Punarvasu right here. This nakshatra bridges those two signs. And again, there are 3 sections in the zodiac where there is no nakshatra bridge, but this one there is. So this nakshatra of Punarvasu shows this convergence points and where Gemini becomes Cancer. So this is one of the things I'm going to explore in great detail in this course. There are many people who've gotten my nakshatra courses before and whatnot. I've taught several things, but this one is going to really focus on how every zodiac sign is really 3 different signs. 3 signs based on the nakshatra. Aries is Ashwini, Bharani, and 3 degrees of Kritika, etc. Gemini, or I should say, let's just say Cancer, is really 3 sections. Punarvasu, the first 3 degrees, ruled by Aditi, who is the mother of the Adityas, and it has a lot of that kind of Gemini energy. Gemini becoming Cancer is the first section of Cancer, and the nakshatra Punarvasu. Then the next section, from 3 to like 16 degrees, is the nakshatra of Pushya, which is the breasts, right? Like the mother's milk that flows through, literally symbolized by the udders of a cow. And then the final section is Aslesha, which is related to the serpent energy. So it's really 3 different sections of Cancer. And again, if you're not doing that properly, then you're missing a lot. And again, every planet in your chart and everyone's chart exists in a nakshatra, which exists in the sign. And in fact, the nakshatras are the primal zodiac division. Back in the Vedas, they measured planets moving through nakshatras. The zodiac signs were placed on top of that later. So this is very primal. This will be this, and again, this page is a great resource for you to just check out the thing. If you want to get the course, that's fine too, but you don't have to. But again, you can just see these overviews of what I will be doing. And again, right now we have Mars moving from Gemini to Cancer in Punarvasu Nakshatra, this return of the light, and the energy is this divine mother sense of hopefulness, where teachings like a mother guides her child, becomes anchored in the heart, becomes hopeful. Punarvasu means a return of the lightness, return of the goodness, which actually comes after Ardra, which is a flood, like a storm. When Mars went through Ardra, that's when we had a lot of these big storms, and then it went into Punarvasu, is like after the storm, that kind of sense of renewal that comes. That's the energy of this nakshatra. So again, in this course, I'm going to be talking about each nakshatra, also its relationship to the calendar, to the tropical-based zodiac and whatnot. So again, there will also be a link for that if you're interested. But again, I bring these pages up because they're great resources and they help me to explain just, instead of just having a dry chart here. But big shifts are happening, and at the very least, go and get the ebook here, marsebook.com. And then you can also, if you haven't yet got this web class, this is I think it's more than an hour long, where I'm going over all of these shifts that started at the end of August and that goes through June of next year, through June 6th, because Mars is going to go into Cancer, then go back into Gemini, then go back into Cancer again. So between now and then, there are big shifts ahead for you, whether you know it or not, and it's just a matter of whether you know it or not. Those things are definitely, going to be happening, and this is always the way it works. We just don't really know it. Sometimes we know it, but oftentimes we don't. We're like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? This is a long-term shift of going back and forth during, as I say, it actually started at the end of August of this year, August 26th, and goes to June 6th. So I encourage you to go make sure to check that out. Again, it's a free web class. You can just register for it. The same with this interactive ebook. You'll really love this. It actually has it's in 3 formats: a regular PDF that you can download to your computer, also a flip book, so you can like a flip book on a mobile device, and then also an interactive where the videos are embedded, so it doesn't even open like a new browser. So again, I like doing these things, putting them together for you, and I hope that you enjoyed this. And again, also, if you want to learn more about the nakshatras, you can also go there and do that as well. This course on the nakshatras will be great, bringing the zodiac to life. And I say the zodiac, it's bringing your life to life with these great stories, because as it says, every planet in your chart is in one of these nakshatras. And so it's just a matter of whether you understand this or not. And again, you can get the free videos and stuff, but sometimes it's also good to, invest, a little bit of money there. It's not that much. And, maybe, invest in a course where you can learn about the nakshatras and whatnot, or not, whatever you want to do. So either way, I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel.